Welcome to 7 Days Report, your reliable source of information from all major news from around the world. I'm your host, Vasilios Nikolaos Vitsilogiannis. Every weekend at 12 and 21, we bring you the latest headlines, in-depth analysis, and insightful commentary on the stories that matter most. Whether you're tuning in for a recap of the week or looking for a deeper understanding of global events, we've got you covered. Let's start with our first news. In one of the most audacious art thefts in history, the world-renowned Louvre Museum fell victim to a meticulously planned heist that sent shockwaves across the art community and beyond. The heist occurred late last month, targeting several priceless masterpieces, including works by Leonardo da Vinci, Rembrandt, and Vermeer. The thieves exploited a sophisticated security loophole, bypassing far-reaching surveillance systems and state-of-the-art alarms without triggering any alerts. According to investigators, the heist was executed by a highly organized and professional crew, possibly linked to an international art theft syndicate. Within minutes, the stolen works vanished without a trace, leaving stunned museum staff and the global public grappling with the loss. Authorities have launched a massive international manhunt, collaborating with Interpol and art recovery specialists. French police have issued a red notice on the main suspects, urging collectors and dealers worldwide to be vigilant. Experts warn that stolen masterpieces rarely surface publicly, as they are often hidden for decades or sold on the black market to secretive collectors. The Louvre's director publicly condemned the theft, emphasizing the cultural and historical damage inflicted, not just a financial loss. Efforts are underway to review and overhaul the museum's security protocols to prevent future incidents. Meanwhile, art lovers and experts remain hopeful that the masterpieces will be recovered and returned to their rightful home. The heist has reignited global discussions about protecting cultural heritage and the dangers faced by iconic institutions housing the world's greatest artistic treasures. Authorities continue to appeal for any information that might lead to the stolen works. It is being described as the largest police raid in Rio de Janeiro's history. Security forces launched a massive operation in the city's favelas, resulting in at least 64 deaths. The raid took place in the early hours of Tuesday morning, targeting several neighborhoods heavily controlled by armed criminal gangs. According to police reports, the operation involved hundreds of officers from multiple units, including the military police and special anti-drug task forces. Their objective was to dismantle drug trafficking networks and regain control over territories frequently plagued by violence. The intense clashes between police and gang members led to numerous casualties on both sides, but the exact number of injured or arrested has yet to be confirmed. Authorities say the raid uncovered large quantities of illegal weapons, explosives, and narcotics, which were seized during the operation. The high death toll has sparked outrage among human rights groups and local residents, who criticize what they call excessive use of force by security forces and the lack of adequate protection for civilians living in the affected areas. Calls for investigations into the circumstances of the raid and accountability measures are growing louder. City officials maintain that the operation was necessary for public safety and have vowed to continue efforts to combat organized crime in Rio. The Brazilian government underscored its commitment to restoring order while respecting human rights, promising a thorough inquiry and support for affected communities. The raid underscores the ongoing battle between law enforcement and criminal factions in Rio, highlighting deep-rooted challenges in dealing with violence and insecurity in the city's most vulnerable zones. In a devastating escalation of violence, more than 100 people have been killed in Israeli airstrikes on Gaza. The strikes come after Israel's prime minister publicly accused Hamas of breaching the fragile ceasefire agreement between the two sides. According to official reports, the air raids targeted multiple locations in Gaza, resulting in significant casualties and widespread destruction. Hospitals and residential buildings were among the hardest hit, deepening the humanitarian crisis in the region. Israel's prime minister condemned Hamas for violating the ceasefire terms, emphasizing that the militant group had also returned the remains of hostages incorrectly. This claim is being used to justify the renewed military actions and express frustration over ongoing negotiations. Hamas, the Islamist militant group governing Gaza, rejected the accusations, stating that Israel had acted aggressively despite commitments to peace. The group called for renewed international intervention to enforce a lasting truce. The international community has expressed grave concern over the rising death toll and the fragile state of the ceasefire. Several countries have called for restraint on both sides to avoid further escalation that could spiral into a larger conflict. This latest flare-up highlights the persistent volatility in the Gaza-Israel region, where cycles of violence often undermine peace efforts. Humanitarian agencies warn of deteriorating conditions for civilians caught in the crossfire, urging immediate steps to protect innocent lives. The situation remains tense as diplomatic efforts continue behind the scenes to restore calm and prevent further bloodshed. President Donald Trump has announced that the United States will resume testing nuclear weapons, a move that marks a significant shift in U.S. nuclear policy after decades of voluntary moratoriums. Speaking at a rally on Wednesday, Trump stated that the U.S. must ensure its nuclear arsenal remains the most advanced and credible deterrent in the world amid rising global threats. America will no longer be restrained by outdated agreements or political correctness, Trump declared. We will restart nuclear testing to maintain our superior defense capabilities and protect our national security. The decision to resume nuclear testing has sparked immediate reactions both domestically and internationally. Critics warn that it could escalate global tensions and undermine decades of non-proliferation efforts. Democratic lawmakers expressed concern, calling the move reckless and urging the administration to prioritize diplomacy and arms control. International allies and adversaries alike closely watched the announcement. Russia and China condemned the decision, calling it destabilizing and provocative. The United Nations urged restraint and called for renewed efforts toward disarmament. The U.S. has observed a testing moratorium since 1992, with the last underground nuclear test conducted that year. Trump's administration argues that modernizing the nuclear arsenal and conducting tests are essential to verify the safety and effectiveness of current weapons, especially as other nuclear powers continue to advance their arsenals. As the global community reacts, experts warn that this development could open a new era of nuclear competition, increasing risks of proliferation and conflict. The full scale and timeline of the planned tests remain unclear. This announcement is poised to reshape the future of nuclear arms policy and international security. A narrow Pacific waterway is becoming a strategic focal point in the United States' efforts to limit China's naval expansion. U.S. defense officials are increasingly focusing on controlling access routes that are vital for China's naval operations, aiming to curb China's ability to project power across the Pacific. The waterway in question, a crucial corridor for Chinese naval movements, is viewed by U.S. military strategists as a potential choke point. By establishing a presence or influence along this route, the U.S. intends to hinder China's ability to deploy and reinforce its naval forces swiftly, thereby maintaining regional dominance. Experts highlight that this waterway's significance has grown amid escalating tensions over territorial disputes and military modernization in the Indo-Pacific region. The U.S. has been conducting military patrols and deploying surveillance assets to monitor Chinese activity around the waterway, signaling its intention to safeguard free navigation and regional stability. China has responded to these maneuvers with increased assertiveness, asserting its right to expand its naval capabilities and secure its maritime interests. Nonetheless, U.S. officials maintain that their measures aim to ensure open and secure sea lanes essential for international trade and security. Analysts warn that this strategic contest raises the risk of accidental clashes or escalation, underscoring the importance of diplomatic engagement and clear communication channels. As the geopolitical game intensifies, the narrow Pacific waterway remains a pivotal battleground for influence and control in the Asia-Pacific region. That is for now. Thank you for listening to 7 Days Report, your reliable source of information from all major news from around the world. I'm your host, Vasilios Nikolaos Vitsilogiannis. Every weekend at 12 and 21, we bring you the latest headlines, in-depth analysis, and insightful commentary on the stories that matter most. Goodbye.